Y boom boom, ahí estamos grabando, Fencast grabando. Today I'm accompanied by an artist whose work I found thanks to the beauty of making the algorithm your bitch and not letting the algorithm become your bitch. Yeah. So basically I found them thanks through what I call digital crate digging, which involves actually going through a lot of artists and trying to find out what you like. Um, So a lot of people who have followed the podcast in one fashion or another, they know that I'm a big fan of Griselda and everything they've done, which allows me to go through a bunch of artists who are very underground. That also involves producers, beat makers. And one day I found Johnny Trash, who is a very prolific uh, rapper and producer. And through him, I found out about the person we have here today, a very groovy dude who, although his sound might be, I guess, more heavily inspired by hip hop, you can find a whole lot of shit with it. Today we're Jazzy Lion Man. How are we doing, dude?
Hey, my guy, thank you for having me. I appreciate you. Yo, first of all, shouts out Johnny since you brought his name out. The man, Johnny Trash, bro, super talented. He's probably one of the nicest folks I know, and the work ethic, that man's work ethic is fucking crazy. Like, I drop a lot of music, but that man's probably could drop as much music, if not, he already does. Like, he's work ethic's crazy. Respect, and it's all quality. So, shouts out Johnny for real.
Yeah, yeah. That's one thing that I admire about you, about Skip, and about Johnny. Like all of you guys, you're doing what one of my favorite musicians does, Buckethead, a rock and roller, who's a multi-instrumentalist. The dude, he has this series called Buckethead Pikes, I believe they're called, and he has like 800 projects using that title alone. And yeah, it's mostly instrumental music that ranges from rock and roll to ambient music. So I'm very often inspired by artists who manage to keep um a very, I guess, routine work ethic, if you could
Mhm.
put it like that. So yeah, before we go any deeper into that, please let the people know where can they find you across social media or DSPs, whatever.
Try to make it real easy. I don't
Yeah.
like people like have their Instagram or handles real like intricate.
Mm.
My name is Jazzy Lion Man. You could literally type Jazzy Lion Man on any social media platform. Jazzy Lion Man all together, no hyphens, underscores, dashes, no dots. If you type that into any social media platform, you'll find me. You can also do that on Bandcamp, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Pandora, Deezer, anything people can stream their music on. Napster, I'm on everything. So all I gotta do is just type up the name, put the spaces in between the lion and the man, and you'll find me.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. I would highly encourage anybody who's either watching or listening to this, pay attention to Bandcamp Fridays, where you can directly uh even better support the artists, because it is my understanding that you guys get an even bigger part of the revenue, right?
Yeah, I think
Or
you get like the full share of the revenue off the Bandcamp weekend.
beautiful, beautiful. So, dude, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, I found out about your work thanks through Johnny Trash, and eventually I found, of course, you, Jules Clay, Skip the Kid, even Gustavo, even people like Wolverine. So the thing that connects all of you that I highly admire is that prolific attitude towards working, like art, 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 no matter, you know, whatever problems come your way. So I'm gonna ask obviously the most basic question about how you got into art a little bit later, but I gotta ask, how do you maintain such a prolific career while having a 9 to 5?
Um, I would say just like I mean, I don't mean to say like be cliche about it and be like the corny thing to say because but it's just like passion. Like I really like I have passion for my craft and my art, and like I'm just hungry to keep making more stuff. And like the dude that you're talking about with the 800 tapes, like I hope that's me one day. You know what I'm saying? Because I like to do ambient shit, hip hop, lo-fi, like jazz, all that shit. So like I like to just keep putting out stuff and material to show that one, I'm consistently working, but it's also like I have a hunger and a passion for this as well. Like I'm not just like a hobbyist, or I'm not just sitting here like, oh, I'm making beats in my mom's bedroom or in my grandparents' basement. Like I'm really like it's just what I love to do and like what I enjoy doing. Like if I'm not I'm working on literal music, you know what I'm saying? So I'm technically always working 24/7. Like when I get home, I might crack a beer, roll up some nice, herb, and then just get to sampling and making beats. Like I do that 7 nights a week, if not do it in the morning time before I go to work, get a couple beats in there, work 12 hours, come home, crack open a nice cold one, and then get to producing again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just a hunger and a passion for it as well. Like it's like some days I'd be like, damn, I'm fucking tired. It's been a long week. Like, been working all these shifts and like, I don't really want to. And it's just like, I just kind of like push myself, even if I don't want to, or if I'm real tired, just push myself to get in there because it's just like half the battle showing up. And then once I got the MPC on, because I make all my beats on the MPC one,
Mhm.
once I start getting some samples, then I'm like, oh shit, this is fire. Oh, I start getting a little creative, or like I have a few ideas and I can't just sleep on the ideas. I'm like, I gotta capitalize on these. So it's like kind of like a passion and a hunger for it as well. Even if I don't want to, it's like an NBA player. They don't want to practice 7 days a week, but most likely they're in the gym. Same thing with me. I'm not in the NBA, but I'm in the gym. I'm in my studio. I'm in my makeshift. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my extra room in my house making beats and going through records and shit. I have like almost 1,000 records at this point, so I'm going through a lot and sampling. And I don't sample off of YouTube either. I sample hands on, like records on records on records. I like to find my own samples because I feel like the same samples on YouTube that you'll find in the algorithm that you were talking about earlier, hundreds and thousands of other producers are going to find the same ones that are thrown in the algorithm. So I like to try to find my own unique ones, if that makes sense. So I just trying to push to it and get to it every day.
No, yeah, definitely, definitely. You mentioned the word sample a lot. Um, I just thought of this question while I was taking a shower before doing an interview. You know that Kanye sampled that Daft Punk song a while back for Stronger. Is there a very popular song that you would like to sample one day?
What's crazy is like I said I don't like to sample on YouTube, so I won't like look on YouTube for specific things, but I enjoy like R&B, whether it's like 2000s or modern day. I really enjoy pop music a lot. Like I like to like I listen to Sabrina Carpenter and I like Chappell Roan a lot. I've sampled both of those artists before.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I might, grab the vocals or drums or like a drum or a certain kick or a drum break in them. So I do sample those artists if I like am listening to them and I'm inspired by it, and I have before. But it's like that's not my go-to unless I'm like listening to it like at work or on the road, and I'm like, oh wait, I could do something with this. So I sample everything that I find like creative, if it's a commercial or if it's a jingle I'm hearing at Walmart, and I'm like, oh, I'll fucking Shazam it and listen to it. But like normally, if I'm looking for samples and I'm just looking for something to flip, I'm not going to go to YouTube. But if I hear something else that will inspire me, like if I'm listening to some pop song on the radio, I'm like, oh shit, I could do something with that. I'll look it up later or something to that. But I'm not going to just look up like um, dusty boom bat samples on YouTube or soul samples on YouTube because you're going to find the same shit everybody's finding.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I can imagine that most of them are samples that have already been made famous by people like the classics, like be it Alchemist, be it, I don't know, whoever.
And that's why somebody made a playlist out of them.
Yeah. Um, so talking about samples, um, when I was preparing for the interview, brainstorming, taking a drive the other day, a little bit of the brainstorming brought back to me the fact that uh I guess the SoundCloud era made lo-fi, I guess, today's jazz music, or at least for this generation. So who would you say are some of your influences? Like, I know that when I was in college, a lot of people were listening to Donuts, like even though it had been quite a while since Jay Dilla passed away. A lot of people were also listening to a lot of Nujabes, even though it had been also quite a bit since he passed away. But the breakout star of the lo-fi wave from SoundCloud was Evie. So who you could say is probably the princess of lo-fi, or at least in that era. So who would you say are some of your influences in terms of production, be it as a producer, beat maker, or overall as a musician?
I kind of find like I find inspiration from people before my time, like way above like legends, but I also find like I'm inspired a lot by my peers and the people I work with as well. If that makes us producers, I mean rappers, yeah, but for your question, what you're asking right now is producers, for example, like maybe probably my two, maybe three mainstream producers that people would know is I really like DJ Muggs. I'm a
Mm,
huge fan of DJ Muggs because he's really stood the test of time, but he's really mastered a craft of, oh, I can produce in the 90s, I can produce in the late 90s, early 2000s. I can go into production in the late 2000s, 2010s, and now he's still making crazy music with underground up and coming people in 2025, which is, doing this music shit for 30 some odd years
mhm.
consistently, quality is shut. It's a lot. So I really find a lot of inspiration by him. I like um there's a producer that's worked with West Side Gun. His name's Sadhu Gold. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He
Yeah.
lives in he's a Philadelphia guy, East Coast guy. I really find inspiration in him because one, he's like relatable because he's kind of more local and close to me, but his shit is so like I don't even know how to like describe it besides just saying it's like dense. Like his beats are so dense and like compacted with like so much shit. You're like, dude, this guy, whatever the fuck he was like doing or had like in his mind to make this was crazy. Or then like you'll find out he made like three different beats from one sample and the shit sounds totally different. Like he's super creative and he's got a crazy resume. Like he's produced albums for FENatic, West, not the whole West Side Gun album, but a couple tracks from him. He's produced shit for Bodie James. He produced it a lot, like for a lot of people's favorite rappers. So super talented. I like the way he works, and he puts out a lot of quality music too, whether it's production for underground rappers or um, just instrumentals. I like him a lot. Alchemist, I always put him on there. So it's a classic guy. So those are three mainstream people, but I really find inspiration in people like on my level, like Skip the Kid, for example. That's a really close friend of mine. It's
Mhm.
pretty much family at this point. We just dropped our 21st project last a couple of days ago on Monday. We dropped our 21st project. And I find inspiration in him because when I was first learning about music, he was like, yo, here's this, here's that. If I had any questions, he would put me on and stuff like that. And I was always a fan of his music before I became friends with him. And then he kind of like showed me the ropes and was like, this is how you do that, this is that. Here's some fire sample. Like he just, whatever I needed. So I really, and I like his music a lot. Like he's super, and I'm not just saying that because he's talented and he's my friend, whatever. If he's my friend, I'll tell him I don't fuck with his music because I don't, it's not hurt my feelings. I'll tell you the truth, whether it's going to hurt your feelings or not. But his shit, his catalog is super dense, just like mine, super quality, and I just like what he has. He has his own sound, and he's in his own wave. He's not looking at, oh, they're doing that over there. Maybe I should change my shit, or oh, they're doing that over there. This is Skip the Kid beats. If you don't like it, there's plenty of other producers, but I'm willing to work. So I've really liked the way he holds himself and his sound and his craft. He's really mastered his sound. There's a producer slash rapper outside of Albany, New York. His name's Sudoku.
Mhm.
He's If you've never tapped into him, he's super consistent. He's very good, and he also raps as well. But he's production. When I first heard him, it was production. His shit's super like I don't know what to say, but super funky and it's original, like hip hop beats. And he also raps too. So one week he'll drop a fucking instrumental take you like, oh shit, this is fire. And then like 2 weeks later, he'll drop a whole self-produced rap tape and he's just rapping on this shit. So I would check him out. I find inspiration in him because his beats are really fire too. I've worked with him as well. We have two projects out. Um, and he drops as much music as I do. So I always have respect. I get tip my hat to people like that as well. But him and I have been in the studio a couple of times and been chilling and making beats. We have two projects together as well. One's a a basketball themed project called Six Man of the Year and just celebrating like underrated like bench players of the NBA.
Mhm.
And we also have another project called what was it? Silver Slugger of the Year, I think, or the Silver Slugger Award. And it's just basically the same thing, but in MLB, like forgotten role players in the MLB. And they're all like baseball and basketball samples, but just shit like that. But I really find basically back to the question is inspiration from Skip and Sudoku, and then back to the Alchemist and DJ Muggs and Sadhu Gold because they just all drop consistent music and they're just really in their own lane. I try to carry myself as the same way. Like I like to listen to other people's stuff and as much music as possible, but I'm not a copycat of where, oh, I like the way his drums are. I gotta use that, or oh, they're sampling this genre of music. I got my own bread and butter, and I know what works for me, and I'm just doing that. I'm not really trying to copy anything else. So I like them because they do the same shit.
Super dope, super dope. So, as you mentioned, you listen to a lot of music, And when somebody listens to your work, you can find all of that music, be it either lo-fi hip hop, drumless, more boom bap type of sound, jazzy sounds, soulful sounds, ambient, experimental. Earlier today, I was listening to one of them that on the title it says lo-fi, but I would classify it as coming of age lo-fi to be more specific, because it felt like a coming of age soundtrack. So I wanted to know if you have, like, I can tell that you're a big music fan, obviously, but
Mhm.
do you have any musical background aside from that before making beats?
No, I actually I started making like music and beats like consistently and seriously and dropping music in 2022 and 2023.
Mm,
So it's like it wasn't like I've been working on beats for the last like 5 years is not even like 10 years. You know, a lot of people have music backgrounds stemming from a while. I just was studying the game for a long time, and I unfortunately I was broke as fuck as a kid growing up, so I didn't have no money, no money for a $500 beat machine or to find samples. And because I sample off of vinyl, so I gotta buy the vinyl, I gotta get the speakers, I gotta get the headphones, and I gotta get the wires for it, and I gotta get the MPC or whatever you want to chop the samples on. Shit doesn't take this isn't free. So it took me a while to be able to get the money for that. And then so when I was doing that when I was in my teens, I was just studying the game. I was always a connoisseur and an enjoyer of music, but also hip hop music. I was growing up on my dad and my mom, they put me on the hip hop music. That's the first shit I know. It was R&B and hip hop. So I grew up on that shit. So I just have a passion for it. So then I was just studying the game of like, okay, I like this guy, I like this guy, I like the way this sounds. There's a lot of rappers that I enjoy, but I don't enjoy their production. You
mm,
know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people where I like the way they rap, but I don't like the beats they rap on. You know, so or I've always just like, okay, well, I like that beat. I know I could have made something fire like that too, and listening to it for a while, and then just seeing how other people make beats and just seeing the craft. And I was like, I got to do this. Like I'm meant for this. Really, I really am. And then once I got the NPC and I got all that in 2023, I just hit. Well, I got it in 2022. I didn't release my first project until mid. I think it was September of 2023, and I just hit the ground running ever since.
yeah, yeah, I can totally see that. Like even now, like I think it was last week or the week before that, I was like, oh hey, a new Jazzy Lion album. And then 2 days later, another project and another project and another, and
I had
like,
I had this.
goddamn.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I had this thing in June where I was like, I'm gonna call it Jazzy June, and I was like, I'm gonna just. I had a couple of extra projects I had sitting on my hard drive that I was like, I don't really have a plan to like drop these at a certain date. It's not like the next con. It was like a lot of instrumental tapes and some collab tapes, and I was like, I got a lot of shit I want to get off my chest, and I'm like, honestly, I want to show like I'm really not. I'm fucking that guy. So I was like, man, fuck it. I'm just gonna drop a bunch of tapes, and I ended up. I think it was 10 or 11 tapes I dropped um in June. So it was like every like 2 or 3 days I was dropping a project. So it's not going to be all year round, but I just wanted to. I'm a Gemini, so June I had to show my ass a little bit. So I was like, fuck it. I wanted to showcase some stuff that maybe if I didn't drop it in June, it might have just sat on my computer for the rest of the year or for a while. So I was like, I ain't got nothing to lose. So
Mhm.
just put it out there, and folks is fucking with it. And 10 projects in 31 days is pretty decent.
See, it was pretty fun. It's pretty fun. It made my journey a little bit easier,
My
tell you
God.
that much. Um, so when it comes to being so prolific musically, um, you obviously got to add some or attach cover art. I got to ask, a lot of the cover art that you have for your projects, it's very you, like it's very unique to you, and there's a through line. So I don't know, for example, obviously there's going to be a lot of lions involved because Jazzy Lion Man,
Yeah.
but there's also a lot of either uh sports references or just stuff like you can tell that the collage was made by somebody either that works with you or that you made it. So I gotta ask, do you also make a lot of the cover art or do you have people that help you out on that? How does it work?
So with the cover arts, it's like in my cal. I have a lot of projects, obviously. In my cover art, probably personally made like 5 or 7 ish, just if I'm just trying to be creative. But as of right now, cover art's not really my main like flex and my bread and butter. So I honestly, with my cover art, if you've noticed, a lot of them carry the same texture or theme because I have the same like 4 people that do my cover
Mhm.
arts. So I've either at 5. So I've either got my homie, he's a rapper out of Jersey, Two Jeeves. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him.
Yeah, yeah.
He he does a lot of my cover art, and a lot of people don't even know that. He's probably done at least a fourth of my cover art, at least 20, 25 covers. He's super nice with the graphic design, and he edits his own videos too, all of them. So he's done a lot. So that's about a quarter of them already. When me and Skip collab, sometimes him or I will do the cover art because if we're trying to drop that night, we're like, man, fuck this. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. We're gonna figure this shit out just man to man. So we'll just he'll send me a couple pictures. I might send him a couple pictures back. We'll cut up some shit. We'll figure it out on spot. We're cooking in the kitchen. So me and Skip might do a couple of them when we collab. There's this guy named Zarhil. He's done a couple of he's a graphic designer. He's done a couple of my covers as well. Um, I'm collaborative friends with this rapper named Gomi J. He's done like 4 or 5 of my covers. We just dropped a project called Black Main a couple of months ago. So and actually, since we're on this podcast, I might as well put a little. I'm going on a little tour run later
Mhm.
this year, so it's going to be just him and I. So you're going to be able to get real familiar with Gomi as well during that too. So we have a project in the tuck that we're going to drop probably a week before we hit the road, and then we're going to go on the road for about 2 months. So
Dope.
yeah, so he's good at cover art. So between him, Gustavo, every time that we do a project, you see how many projects we've done, me and Gustavo have done. He always does cover art. So between those 4 or 5 people I just named, that's all of it right there. So I usually just tell them they know me. Everybody that I just named, we've smoked, we drank, fucking been in the studio. We know we're friends. We know each other in real life as well, not just sending an email. I think you'd be good on this, or sending the files, and we're actually friends outside of this shit or with this shit. So they know me. They know jazz. They know I like jazz instruments. They know I sample this shit. They know how I rock. So they'll just make a cover just off of who I am and just off of the vision they have. And honestly, it's been working ever since. It was worked so far.
It has. It has indeed. Um, One of the most recent projects that you've released that caught my attention just on name alone was Satan Can't Sign Me with Jules Clay. I
Mm-hmm.
listened to it on repeat the other day while I was doing my daily workout. So when it comes to collaborations with rappers, you mentioned that you guys know a lot of each other. A lot of you know each other personally and whatnot. So when it comes to collaborations with rappers, do you guys sit down in the studio for the most part, or does it have time? Does it sometimes have to be like an online type of thing where you send each other the beats and whatnot, or how does
It's
it work out?
it's both. Preferably me. I like to hang out with my people. I like to, chop it up. I feel like I create some of my better work if I'm making the beat in the studio. We're chilling. We might listen to it for like 45 minutes on repeat, or just load it up and go. A lot of my music with Gustavo, probably 95% of my music with Gustavo. He either comes over my house or I go to his studio. We cook up stuff on the spot and we make it there. Same with Two Jeeves. A lot of my music with Skip, we do. Jules, I've never met him in life because real life because I'm in Delaware, he's in Buffalo, so it's about like
Mhm.
10-hour drive. So that project I did send to him, and he sent the files back, and he mixed that project. So we work very well. That was our third project together, and he's also been like done a lot of features on my solo work as well. So we have good chemistry, even though we've never uh like met each other face to face. But that's how I like to keep, like, if I've worked with you before, I try to keep a good connection and bridge. I like to keep good business decisions and connections as well. So that's my guy. Even though I've never met him in real life, we're 3 projects in, excuse me, and we've also done a lot of singles and stuff together. He's mixed a couple of my compilations and random tracks too. So yeah, we're pretty close as well.
Dope, 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 dope. So now that we're talking about collaborations being so prolific, a random thought came up to me, and I remember when I was in college, uh, doing my master's, I was working on releasing a lot of poetry books. And I remember one of my professors told me that I had to eventually just compile it all and release it on one big ass book, like a whale type of book, like those phone books type of size books.
Right.
So if you were to make a compilation, say something like, uh, I don't know, like a 50 track compilation, would you pick a song off every project that you've made to sort of show like the progress, or how would you go about it, do you think?
Like, I mean, I made comps before, like not like the best of or reuse and try. Are you asking about like if I was to go through my catalog and pick out like 10 of the best tracks that I think, or are you talking about a new compilation with like new stuff that's never been heard before?
No, like if you were to make like a compilation that you was use as a presentation later to people who don't know you.
I probably go through my old stuff and I probably pick like some of my better stuff. I pick like one track out of certain stuff, like the
Mm.
lo-fi project that you're talking about. I probably pick like a couple of tracks out of there as like intros or like little interludes, and then I probably go through of like my other compilations, like stuff with me and Jules or me and Gustavo or me and Two Jeeves or me and Gomi J, or stuff off my Christmas compilation Eggnog. I probably grab a few tracks off of those. I probably just kind of grab like the best of and display. So I would definitely grab just a lot of the people I just named. I probably grab like a track or two off of those names that I produce because we all have at least like 5 or 10 tracks together and throw that on a big tape for sure and display. Especially because I would display the similar names that I work with. I try to work with the same names and build a good bond. And like, okay, Jazzy and Gustavo, that's a good duo. Skip the Kid and Jazzy Lion Man, that's a strong duo. Gomi J and Jazzy Lion Man, that's an incredibly strong duo. You know what I'm saying? Two Jeeves and Jazzy, like, oh, when you see Two Jeeves and Jazzy Lion Man, you're gonna be like, oh shit, they're dropping some fire. You know what I'm saying? So will try to do shit like that. So if I grab like a song from each one of them that I've done that I think is my best and put on a comp, I'd probably display that similar to poetry that you had.
Dope, dope. Is making vinyl a future goal as well?
I have I gotta find a new goal because I already got vinyl. You heard
Oh, there you go.
now. So I got the hat, made the hat. I
Mm.
got the vinyl. Let's see if I got some other shit in here. I got that's the point. We're on the. I got the cassettes with the jazzy on it. You feel me?
Boom.
So it's just like hand dubbed. So it's like I do have stuff because I go on the road a lot, and it's like when I first did my first couple of shows, didn't all I had was my music, and then people were like, "Oh, what's your name?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm Jazzy Lion Man. Nice to meet you." And they're like, "Oh, you got cassettes? Do you have merch? Do you have tapes? Do you have anything?" And I was like, I sat there and I really scratched my head. Like I told them no because I didn't, but I was like, "Fuck!" And I was like, "That's where I fucked up." So ever since like I think it was like my second show, I was like, "Oh no, I got to fix this. I got to get some merch." So after that, I invested in myself, and I was like, I got to grab vinyl and I got to grab some cassettes, and the hats are a good seller too because everybody loves a decent hat. You know what I'm saying? So,
Hmm.
and hats don't discriminate, men, women, old. Some people put hats on their fucking dogs. So you
Yeah.
never. But yeah, so I try to keep some merch and stuff like that on hand, especially for new people, because new people that don't know you, if they just see you for the first time at a show, they don't know you from a hole in the wall, but they'll just want to support you off the strength. Or when I go on the road and I'm 10, 12, 14 hours away from my fucking home, people hear that off the strength. They're like, oh, I want to support him. That way he has somewhere to fucking sleep, eat shit, and, enjoy that town he was in. So stuff like that as well. So I realized that second show, I was like, I need to have merch.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. So another thing I wanted to ask, since you're so prolific, is titles, like names for each project. I'm the type of person who I have a bunch of ideas, and sometimes it all starts with the title, or vice versa. I have the idea, but I have no idea what title to put to the project. So when it comes to you, since you're so prolific, do you often have a title in mind, or are you just flowing, letting
Uh,
the beats come about, and then you have a title? How does it go?
Usually it's the first. Usually I have a title or I have like a base idea.
Mm,
Like, so I'll be like, okay, like the vinyl I just showed you, it was called Jazzy Fatu. I immediately knew I wanted because there's this wrestler that was in the underground. His name was Jacob Fatu,
mm,
and he got signed to WWE recently, and like the last year actually, and he's went on a tear, fucking people up, killing shit, just doing shit his own way. And if you don't like, he's fucking mowing you over. I was like, that's hard. And then he was cutting these crazy promos of just disrespectful, like either get out of my fucking way or you get the fuck over. And so I was like, oh, that's me. Like I'm fucking with that. So it's like he never went out of his way to like terrorize people and shit on them. But if you got anywhere in his path, you were done. So I was like, I bet those promos were on fire. So I was like, I can sample these and make that easy money. And then I just was like, all right, Jazzy Fatu, I'm gonna get a lion head. I already had the whole idea with that, and I'm gonna put it over, Photoshop it on top of Jacob Fatu's head. I'm gonna make the whole shit red because he's violent. I made the vinyl red. I made the vinyl sticker red, everything red on there. And then I was like, I'm just no drumless. I'm just gonna do drums, hard boom bap rap, and that's just gonna be the identity of that. Or like the Lo-Fi Lion series. I have three series of that or volumes of that. I already knew I wanted to have like a little mesh of like a bunch of lines cut out, kind of edited a little bit to where they're like sleeping, lo-fi music. Sometimes you get a little sleepy late night, whatever.
Mm.
And I was like, I want to do a couple tapes of that and just lo-fi line, volume one, lo-fi line, volume two, like volume three. Just I kind of already have a vision for a lot of the shit that I see. Where like every Christmas I drop a compilation for my love for eggnog, and I every year it's like eggnog one, eggnog two. It's like it's going to be sampled. It's going to be non-corny Christmas beats, hip hop Christmas shit. Rappers talking about how they didn't have shit for Christmas. It was crack and roaches and grandma sipping eggnog, crazy shit. You know, on theme. Every like shit always has to have a theme and make sense, and it's not a recycled theme either. You
Mm.
know, so it's like I usually always just have a vision. With the projects, I always once I had the vision, sometimes I write it down if I'm smart enough. Other times I just drill it in my brain and hope I don't forget it. And then when I get to where I want to get at or samples, I'm just boom, I'm there. Jazzy Fatu, boom. Like a lot of the shit I make in a day or a couple of days or a weekend because I'm like, okay, lo-fi series, boom. I want to make a whole lo-fi series tape. I'm locked in on Friday night until fucking Monday morning. So it's like I made Lo-Fi Lion Volume 1, 2, and 3 all in a weekend.
Oof.
So it's like once I get the idea, I'm locked in, and then once I'm locked in, I'm hype, I'm excited, I'm like, oh shit, I'm hungry for. I'm like, oh fuck, this is a great idea, and I'm just zoom, I'm going to a pat, I'm just like Jacob Fatu, I'm all gas, no brakes, I'm just ready to go.
Dope, dope. I can totally relate to it because right now I'm working on a series of poetry books called Training Mode, and they're all inspired by fighting games or
Oh,
fighting stuff related, So
it's like once you get inspired, you're just like you're motivated to do it, you
yeah,
know.
gotta get to it. Gotta get to it. Um, that's it. When it comes to like, say that you're on a session right now making beats for a new lo-fi series. Do you have a set of samples that you know that you're gonna use, or are you just going with the flow with whatever you find
I
during
go
that
with
day?
the flow, and a lot of times I'll just make beats, and sometimes like today I was making beats before this, and I wasn't making beats for a specific project. I like was just making beats to keep the storage or whatever. And if I heard something like boom bap, like oh shit, like I could use this for my next compilation of rappers to rap over, I might label this like next compilation beat or title that what I think my next comp would be, and then put it in that folder. Or if it was some real lo-fi, no drums, super quiet, like ambient, I would probably label it as like ambient type track, or if I like a lo-fi type shit, and I might like label it as that, or I might just put it in the 2025 new beat folder. So I kind of take it off a sound. If I'm just making beats just to make beats, I'll do that and I'll play it by ear. I'll be like, okay, this one's a boom bap crazy beat. Okay, this is a lo-fi beat. This is soulful. I'll put it over in this folder. Versus like if I'm in the studio with Gustavo, I'm just making a beat. Oh, he likes it. Export it, send it right to him. Oh, he's making a beat. Oh, I know what kind of beats he's like. We had fucking 200 songs together. I'm gonna send it right over to him ASAP. We're gonna make it. Versus, or if somebody hits me up like online, like I want you to produce my next project, or I need some beats, and I've heard their stuff before, I'll start sampling, and I'll wait to hear stuff that I know that they would sound, or I could make a beat that they would sound good off of, if that makes sense. So it's like it really depends on what my motivation to, or what my inspiration for that day is to make beats. If I'm making beats for a specific project, a specific artist, or if I'm just making them just to make them.
Gotcha, gotcha. That part about adapting your sound to what the rapper likes or what the rapper wants or whatever, it reminds me a bit of a recent Alchemist interview where he said that he basically makes the canvas and the rapper just raps over it, basically making the painting. Um, I also wanted to ask, since you're so prolific and you explore quite a variety of sounds, do you see yourself eventually making, if asked or if you want to, making a soundtrack for like a short film or for a movie or what have you?
Absolutely. And absolutely. I think that would be dope. Honestly. Like I don't want to just keep doing like rap, hip hop. Like I'll do anything. I'm a musician. I enjoy any good music. Like earlier when I said like I enjoy pop, I enjoy modern day pop music. I enjoy soul. I like everything. The only thing I really don't have in my daily rotation is like country music. Honestly, Like I just let you say I don't listen to anything else. I really will listen to or give a chance, if at least a chance. That way, I can't stand when somebody's like, "Oh, I don't listen to that shit," or "I don't listen to that whole genre." They never gave it a chance. You know what I'm saying? So it's like shit like that. Excuse me. So I just like I would definitely do like the soundtrack, absolutely. But it's also if the opportunity's there and it makes sense, I'm gonna take it. No doubt in my mind. If it's a rapper, if it's a pop singer, if it's a jazz band that just wants me to do rhythmic shit, or if it's a fucking punk rock band that wants me to do some screamo shit. I'm not gonna be the one screaming out, screamo, fucking going screaming in the mic, but I'll definitely I'm ready to work as long as it makes sense and it's gonna be good and it's gonna be polished correctly and a nice piece of art. I'm ready for it. Like I would love to work with like singers and pop artists as well as making soundtracks and having movie producers ask me, "Hey, you think you can make a couple of sounds for our movie, or you think you could produce this whole project, and we'll see if we can take it or stuff like that." So it's like, and that's where the bags and that's where the real money is too,
Mhm.
honestly. So it's like you fuck around and get a little opportunity with a movie that you do a little soundtrack for, and it goes a little crazy. You're getting that money.
Indeed, 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 indeed. Um, Dude, the session is close to finishing, so I'm gonna shut down this session, download the video, and continue with another one. ¿That cool?
Gotcha.
No. Pero antes de proseguir con el podcast, ¿sabrían que soy un autor? Sí, pueden conseguir mi libro a través de Amazon. Simplemente escriban Fernando Correa González en Amazon. Eso es Fernando Correa González en Amazon. O si no, pueden ir a Bandcamp y buscar la versión audio de mis libros bajo el mismo nombre, Fernando Correa González en Bandcamp. Eso es Fernando Correa González en Bandcamp. Y ahora, seguimos con el interview. Boom, there we are, round two, with the lion, as the saying goes.
How'd it go? A fellow good friend of mine once told me, he said, you can do two things when you are producing. He's like, you can either make the same beat 100,000 times. That way, when somebody hears your beat, they already know it's you.
Mhm.
You could make a beat tag or have a beat tag and use that, and you can be a lot more experimental and kind of branch out, and people still know you off the beat tag. Like, so obviously, like you just said, the lion. A lot of my friends will fuck with me and know when they see me, like lion, fuck with it. Or like some people that don't even know me, like that see a show, they'll be like, they'll say the lion tag. I'm like, yeah, it's fucking crazy. But then you think about it, like Alchemist doesn't use it much anymore, but he's got the old one, Alchemist, or
Mhm.
the fucking Derringer's got one of like a lot of good producers, or even like Pharrell. He doesn't have a producer tag, but if you know like Pharrell, he does the beats hit four times before every song drops. So it was like dun
Mhm.
dun dun dun, and that's his beat tag. So it's like even though that's a Pharrell beat or shit like that. So it's like some shit like that. I don't know. So I like to branch out and be very versatile in my beats, but then I align tags and everything I produce. So if you ever question if I produced it, if my name's on it and you hear the line tag, you know.
Indeed, indeed. That's something that I've been considering uh beat making or production at some point, and I already got my beat tag. It's just a matter of playing around with it.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out my niece. Eventually, if I do music, when she grows up, she'll find out that it's her talking in the beat tag. So shout
Hey.
out my niece. Um, Dude, before we cut the first round, you had mentioned that if the opportunity arises and it all works out, you would even work with a punk band or what have you. A lot of what you do and what Skip the Kid does, and a lot of what everybody around you does, is very punk rock, very DIY. So I wanted to ask if, in any way, shape, or form, does the punk or hardcore ethic uh inspire you guys in the way that you do your business?
I think it's dope. Like, I wouldn't have really gotten inspiration from them, but like the way how they just like rock out and they just enjoy music and their craft, I could find similarities in that as well. But like, we definitely cross paths. Like, they definitely share the similar like not fan base, but I'm sure fan base of like hip hop and that kind of go hand in hand. Like, they're both alternative, kind of edgy in their own way. But like, for example, like I was the only hip hop act at a punk rock show the other day. Me and my friend Gomi Jay, him and I, we had a set in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Obviously, you're mad far as you probably wouldn't know where that is, but it was for Juneteenth weekend, and
Mm,
it was for and there was like all like it's called the Black Scranton Project, and it was a bunch of like punk rock indie bands We were the only hip hop there, and it could either go good or bad, and it went amazing. And the people there were great. The other artists were there were great, and everybody was moshing before and after us. But in between with our set, they were just paying
Chill.
attention. No, either attentive. It's not like you're not going to mosh at a fucking rap show or like a hip hop thing. So they kind of like switched the vibe up a little bit, but it was a good way. And they showed us crazy love, and so that was kind of a little bit like eye turning. Like, oh, I'm a little versatile in this. So I can go. I don't have to do all hip hop shows. I could go and fuck with something like that, this, and still self submerge and meet new people and meet a lot of new connections as well. So stuff like that, it goes hand in hand. It's all music at the end of the day, whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a pretty dope experience. It's something that, you know, the reason why this podcast exists for the most part is to document uh underground independent or alternative artists from Puerto Rico. And something they've told me is that this newer generation is much more open to a show that includes a little bit of everything. So it's beautiful that it's not just here. It's beautiful to see it outside as well.
I prefer my shows to have that. It gives it a versatility, and it's like I'd rather have a like if I get there's a 4 hour show, I don't really want to listen to 4 hours of just rap and hip hop. If it's
Mhm.
cool, cool, I'm sure they'll be talented. I want to hear some. I want to hear sing. I want to hear some instrumental. I want to hear some people making beats for a couple minutes. I want to hear some singing. I might want to hear like a not like a band, but like a group performance and a solo. I don't want to hear one MC after another, after another, after another, after another for a couple hours. That gets a little stale. I like versatility in shows as well, so I could definitely dig that.
Yeah, 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 definitely. Um, Dude, I know you're focusing heavily a lot on music, but is there any other art form that has caught your attention that you would like to explore at one point in your life?
I used to paint before I was like fucking with like beats and stuff, but just because I think that's kind of cool. Like I like what Action Bronson does, like how he
Mhm.
fucks with paint and he just like paints abstract shit. I have a passion as for like the clip art and like the collages that some of my projects are. I like kind of like abstract art. That's more like my type of way. So like I do fuck with that. So I've definitely painted before, but it's been probably at least like 5 years since I've painted. I moved houses a couple of years ago, and I've had a bunch of paintings, and I like low key I donated them to like the local Goodwill,
Mhm.
and then I was like whatever, and I got like rid of all my painting shit. So I was like, man, here's whatever. And I ended up picking up the vinyls and sampled and shit. So I used to paint, but not anymore. I actually don't have a damn thing that I used to paint. It was all right, but I just got rid of it. I thought it was dope, so I didn't want to like recycle or throw it away. So I just donated it, and I'm pretty sure that shit got taken up. But
Damn. So you're still doing visual art in some way, shape, or form with the cover arts and whatnot, but it would be fun to see future projects with some paintings. I don't know,
that'd
maybe.
be dope, right? I would like maybe paint my. If I was to do something like that, I'd probably paint my own. Like I paint on a canvas, and then I would like paint my own cover arts. That's what I
Mhm.
would. If I was to stretch it like that, to where like I'd be like making like my own abstract like art, and then also connecting that with my music. That way, it's like 100% like in house. That way, like I'm not like asking anybody. It's like music by Jazzy Lion Man, artwork by Jazzy, produced physicals, everything. So stuff like that. Cuts the cost, cuts the time. I don't need to depend on anybody.
Mhm.
You know,
Be pretty fucking sick if you ask me. I
right.
mean, fuck. It would be even cool to have like if there's ever the opportunity to have like a gallery exhibition or a museum type of thing where there's a bunch of your paintings and collage and you also do like the soundtrack to it. That'd be sick too.
That'd be like a show, like rent out a little spot and then put up my art and then like just play beats for
Mhm.
like an hour or two. That'd be dope.
Indeed, indeed. So, dude, I know you have your own little group or your little collective of beat makers that you like to collaborate with, producers, rappers as well. But since you're currently living in Delaware, what can you tell me about the scene in Delaware per se?
The scene in Delaware, it's like it kind of sucks if we're being honest with you. Delaware is like a median in between all the big cities on the East Coast. If you're familiar with the area, like up here, it's like Boston, New York, Jersey, the whole state. Honestly, there's a lot of opportunity in Jersey. Um, and like Connecticut, like just bigger Philadelphia, just bigger cities. But in Delaware, there's not really much like that. But I'm close to them. Like, yes, I'm in a different state, but I'm an hour away from Jersey. I'm an hour
Mhm.
away from New York. I'm an hour away from Maryland. I'm very close to all these. Philadelphia, I'm 30 minutes from. So it's like I get booked or I get opportunities that are outside of state, but they're really still close to me. because it's not like it's like way down the other spot. So there's not super great opportunities for hip hop in Delaware, but there's a lot of opportunities around me, and I take advantage of that because opportunity comes knocking. You got to open the door. So I'm not going to sit here and stay stagnant in Delaware. So I live in Delaware. I've been in Delaware all my life, but I'm very mobile. Get on a train, get on a bus. I'll rub the fucking genie lamp and tell that motherfucker to morph me down to 10 states over, and I'm gonna make it happen. So it's just wherever there's opportunity for me, and I'm welcome to play my stuff and get my shit off. I'm gonna be there. So
Beautiful, beautiful. Um, that being said, a lot of your work makes references to sports. So since you're surrounded by many states that have their own teams, is there, do you have a team for basketball, for baseball, hockey, MLS, what have you? Like, what are your teams if you were to pick right now?
my team, I like I'm a full New York fan, so I'm a fan of the Knicks. I was fucking hyped when they were in the playoffs this year, making some noise. Um, I'm a Yankees fan. I'm just everything New York. I'm a Giants fan, stuff like that. I like local Delaware sports, like the Delaware Blue Hens, especially like the ladies team. They have WNBA legend Elena Deladon, who played for there for her 4 years in college. So I used to go there and watch not WNBA games, but University of Delaware games when she was playing in college. So stuff like that, like local games and just local Delaware sports. I uh, partake in that a lot just to support the local I just like shit like that because you get to see, okay, this is real life. Like it's not like he's playing in Madison Square Garden in the Knicks. Like there's actually people out here that's working, or like she went to school in Delaware, but she ended up being a fucking legend in the WNBA, possibly the top five, top 10 women in the WNBA ever. So it's like cool shit like that. So I'm a fan of that as well as local shit, but I'm a huge New York sports fan just because of like the accolades and everything like this goes on. It's just the big picture there, and I've always been kind of close to there as well. So I've always liked the atmosphere that's around there. So super big fan in that. And I always have followed sports, whether it's sports entertainment like wrestling. I'm a huge wrestling fan as well as I like love basketball, I love baseball, I love football. So I like a lot of sports. So I just if there's something that intrigues my sample wise, or if I'm a huge fan of players individually. So if I see something or I'll attach that, I'll like that, I'll sample that, or I'll just pull cover art from that, or I pull cover art from the newest signing from fucking the New York Knicks, Jazz Chisholm Jr., which is a crazy name. So I made a project of him. I made a project from Elena Deladon. I called it Jazzy Deladon.
Mhm.
Shit like that. I just put a little twist on there, but I'm a huge sports fan, so a lot of that I get inspiration from, especially if I'm making beats and I'm like, oh, that'd be a fucking fire name. We're like making beats and I'm like, Elena Deladon, fuck that, Jazzy Deladon. I'm in Delaware balling, so I'm just kind of sometimes it comes to the fly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I also got asked then, did you play sports as a kid?
Yeah, I played basketball.
Mm.
I played basketball a lot, but I was like kind of like a knucklehead fucking around. So like I got kicked off the team, and I played football when I was super little, but then I was just on some like crazy like kid shit running the streets, just doing shit I wasn't supposed to be doing, and
Mm.
in trouble, not going to school. So that ended very quickly.
But now into music and still being a sports fan, which is always cool. Um, so being a New York fan of all sports, it's kind of painful, especially in football. So is it fair to say that you celebrated those Super Bowls against the Patriots a bunch
Yeah,
when you were younger?
I love that shit. Yeah, it was great, and then like the story around it too about how like it really shouldn't have happened, or like the year that the Giants like were the only people to beat the Patriots that year and
Mm,
fuck their whole season up. It's like shit like that. Like you could never write again. And then after that, they were terrible. Giants have pretty much been terrible after a couple years after that. Since then, probably over 10 years. So it's like and they happen to win. I think that year they made it in the playoffs off the wild card. So it's not like they even played good that year. They just the wild card says it themselves. They were the fucking wild card. So
mm.
the wild card got in and happened to beat the only undefeated team that tried to make the undefeated season. So it's like you cannot write shit up like that. So I've always been a big fan of that. But when I was watching that, I was jumping up and down. But they won Super Bowls a couple of years back to back during those years too,
Mm,
especially when they beat the Patriots twice. It was within a couple of years. Like I think it was like 3-ish, 4 years or something like that. They did that.
mm.
So that was a crazy time for a Giants fan, and then they fell off the fucking face of the earth. But it happens, you take the good with the bad because you always have the good, but you don't really you're not used to the bad. So if you stick with the bad, then when the good times are good, it's all fucking hunky dory. But if it's all good, then it's just another day in the office.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My my one thing for you guys as Giants fans is at least you're not the Jets. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, facts.
I'm a Steelers fan, and it's been painful ever since the 2010s.
This year's
And
kind of interesting for y'all though. This one's crazy. It's
yeah,
it's it's interesting for the Giants in a bad way because we got Russell, your fucking seconds of Russell Wilson, but
mm,
we also got Jameis Winston. When it's like, who fucking knows? But y'all are interesting because you got some good people, and you got DK Metcalf too, right?
I believe so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be an interesting level up, and I can't see that being bad with Tom Coughlin. Not Tom Coughlin, fucking um uh,
The coach.
coach, fucking. Oh, I'm tripping right now.
Yeah,
Mike Tomlin, right? Yep,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah. Tomlin.
Yeah. So I was Mike Tomlin's only going to do so bad with that receiver, and he's legendary for sure.
Indeed, indeed. My only worry is that the whole Rodgers thing is a 1 year deal, so how it'll affect them in the future. That's what kind of worries me. But
Right.
see what happens. See what happens. And going back to New York sports, did it hurt losing to the Dodgers?
Yeah. No shit hurt. That shit was like a kick in the nuts. It's like if I look at it though, it's like okay, we lost the Dodgers, but we got so many fucking rings, we don't even have enough fingers. So it's
Uh,
like I ain't too worried about it, you know. I
yeah.
was also there when they won, when they beat the Phillies like 10 years ago.
Ooh.
I think probably a little bit over 10 years ago now, something like that. But when they was in the World Series with the Phillies and then went to Game 7, I was at a couple of those games when they were in Philadelphia. So it was like that shit was crazy, like fully packed out. It took like 2 hours to get out of the stadium.
Fuck.
Yeah, it was fucking it was like a riot, but it was amazing.
Can't imagine. Can't imagine. And the next year, will they rebound or what do you think?
For a rebound, I hope they win the chip. I can't see it, but we'll see. They got some. They got it's the coach for me, but they just signed a new coach. I think it was Mike Brown, but I'm not too pressed on him. We also just signed Clarkson too, so our bench was pretty trash this year. But Tom Thibodeau kind of like just runs his players into the ground a little bit. So I think that he took us as far as we'll be able to go with him, but then I don't know how far we'll be able to go with a rookie coach.
Mm,
Not a rookie coach because he's the coach of the Kings, but it's like he's new to the Knicks and coaching in the Madison in the Gardens is it's totally different scenery and
mm.
different players and different play styles. So I'm interested to see, but we got a little bit of we did work on the bench for sure because the bench was our problem last year. So hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit, but I think we'll be able to go pretty far. But we made it to the conference finals, so it's like we have to either make it there or the finals to make it a good season of last year. So it's like they set the bar so fucking high.
Mhm.
I feel like if they, I hold the high expectations regardless, but if they don't make anything less than the finals, then it's a failed year. It's a lot to put on a new coach, so we'll see. But I got faith in my guys.
Funny thing is, or I think the most interesting part will be if he can adapt to the pressure of New York and the media from New York. So sure,
I think
second.
I think it'll be a little bit open because of the injuries that were happening. Like
Mm,
Boston's gonna be a little fucked up for the first little bit of the season. So
yeah.
because of Tatum, so they're trying to figure that shit out. So it's like I feel like the East is just gonna be pretty open in regard and the Bucks are kind of crazy right now. So it's like I don't know. As long as we can kind of figure out like a couple of the young sleeper teams and don't get beat by teams that we shouldn't be, we just gotta take advantage of Boston's been our biggest problem for the
Mm.
last like, couple years. So it's like we gotta capitalize on Boston being out for at least the first half or at least the majority of the season with Jason Tatum trying to figure that shit out. We gotta capitalize on that. But we can do that. I feel like we can get some motion going.
Indeed, indeed. As we say in Puerto Rico, poco a poco or bit by bit. No. So, dude, I know you're a very prolific artist. We're about to close this thing out pretty soon. So I gotta ask, this is gonna come out next week, the week of July the 6th to the 12th. So by then, will there be another Jazzy Lion project or will there be a little bit more time in terms of that?
So I got two things that I'll be able to say. I dropped 11 projects in June. Jazzy June, I went a little crazy. Like I said earlier in the spot, I just wanted to get a lot of shit off my chest and showcase what I got. Nowhere close to 11 projects on anywhere else in the rest of each month. I have two projects that I know about that's definitely going to drop. There's one with Gustavo dropping on the 4th of July. So it's in on Friday. By the time this drops, this will probably already be out. That's going to be dropping. And then, so once this drops, I'm gonna probably have my next small compilation drop with a bunch of rappers on there, probably about 8 to 10 rappers on there. It's called What Hand Wash. It's a pretty long title, so it's gonna look, you know what I'm saying? I'm starting to fuck with like longer titles, but it's called One Hand Washes the Other, Two Ears to the Jazz.
Mm.
So that's my newest comp. Jazzy Fatu was my last comp. It was, you know what I'm saying? Got the Jazzy Fatu on vinyl. Has had a lot of features on there, but that's gonna be my next comp. I got a lot of features on there. I got some new faces. I got some old faces. I got. I just the only thing I gotta say is just stay tuned. You know. So and Gomi J's doing the cover art and he's featured on there. So same, keeping the knit close, keeping the family tight. You know what I'm saying? So check on that. Check out the Got My Guy Gomi J. I want to shout him out on here too. We're going on tour towards the end of the year, the end of the summer. So tap in on that. We got Black Name dropping. That already dropped. We have a new project dropping in a couple of months, probably next month. Pre-tour. We got a lot of work coming out. But in July, me and Gustavo, July 4th, and then One Hand Washes the Other, Two Ears to the Jazz. That's dropping probably the last week of July. So just stay tapped in.
Boom, 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 boom. Very active, as always. Very active. Um, so, dude, so people can find out all about your music, all about your events. When can they find you? Once again.
At Jazzy Lion Man. That's it. No other crazy bullshit. Jazzy Lion Man. Twitter. That's not even Twitter no more. X. You
Mm.
got X. Fucking Instagram. Uh, don't look me up on Snapchat. You got fucking Reddit. I'm not really on TikTok, but I'm definitely got an account on there. Run that shit up. Fucking do everything. Anywhere that is a social media platform, you can find Jazzy Lion Man. And if you don't even want to look me up on the platform, go look me up on Spotify. Go look me up on Apple Music. Go look me up on Bandcamp. Even if you're not buying it, because I know people are cheap, that's cool. Just play the music. Just play it, and if you like it, go tell your uncle. That's all I'm saying.
Boom,
Let's go tell your uncle. I know your uncle's gonna fuck with my music, so just that's all I'm asking.
boom, 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 boom. There we go. There we go. Dude, first things first, thank you for saying yes to the interview. Um,
Nah, thank you for having me. Very appreciative. Appreciate you for tapping me. Shouts out to Johnny Trash for putting me on, you for real. But appreciate you for having me. I'm definitely hyped and I'm definitely thankful and grateful for this.
no, thank you, thank you. Second, stay healthy, stay hydrated. Um, it's gonna be a hot summer. It's gonna be a hot summer, so
Yeah,
definitely
'cause
stay hydrated.
I'm dropping music. That's why I thought that summer.
There you go. There you go. I dig it. I dig it. And third, as we say in Puerto Rico, pa'lante, which basically means keep it up, you
Is
know?
that all right? Benante?
Pa'lante. Pa'lante.
Benante. All
Yeah.
right, Benante.
Yeah. Yeah. Means
Peace.
keep it up. Keep going, you know?
So,
So I'll stay in tune. All right.
all right. Peace, bro. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Peace out. His name is Jazzy Lion Man. Everything on all social media, Bandcamp, all DSPs. Jazzy
Jazzy
Lion Man.
Lion Man. That's
There you
me.
go.
Lion.
There you go.